Welcome to Get to Know Your County Commissioner, the program that speaks with elected officials about issues of importance in our community. I'm Jeanette Perez. Miami-Dade County has been taking steps toward a smart era of transportation. And joining me now to discuss the Strategic Miami Area Rapid Transit Plan, or SMART Plan, is the chairman of the Miami-Dade County Commission, District 13 Commissioner Esteban Bovo. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And tell me, you've lived in Miami all your life. How has public transportation changed over the years?
Well, interestingly, it hasn't really changed that much over the years, other than the Metro Rail line that we initiated, the voters initiated back in the 80s, and some minor tweaks to Metro Rail. All we've done really is expand roads. So if one remembers back in the 70s and 80s how we moved around, it's a lot of the same roads, just expanded. So it's an area that we need to address.
Talk to us about the SMART Plan. Why is that so important for Miami-Dade County?
There's a lot of areas that we could talk about with the SMART Plan. First and foremost, we need to talk about our quality of life in Miami-Dade County. Right now, you have very limited options as far as transportation. You drive to work, you use your car to drive your work, and basically you're in traffic. Now, we've added a couple of things over the course of time. We now have Uber and Lyft, which helps greatly. But in reality, what the SMART Plan does is maybe speak to alternatives that folks may have that are not always based on your car. So we think that the transportation of the future will look more like, perhaps this day, I'm not taking my car, and I'm either being dropped off or parking at a station that allows me then to take a rail, perhaps, or another form of transportation that is all interconnected. And what the SMART Plan does is connect northeast, southwest, east-west, the Kendall Corridor, and the north end of our county, all via different modes of transportation perhaps, but all basically centered around either downtown Miami or the intermodal, which is right next to the airport.
And how does the SMART Plan impact our current transportation system?
Well, again, if we give folks options, that option may lead folks to begin to leave their car at home. So what we're hoping is that less cars on the road gives those that want to stay in their car a little bit easier as far as a transit ride is concerned. But more importantly, we think it also speaks to a quality of life situation. If you calculate that you spend probably 2 hours to 3 hours a day in your car in transit, and you multiply that per week, per month, per year, we're losing time in our cars, and it doesn't bode well. It speaks to our productivity as employees. It speaks to our quality of life as we're caged basically in our car. You get home, you're angry, you don't want to talk to anybody, and you may even kick the dog, you're so angry. And you don't get any work done because you can't be in your car and also do work at the same time. The SMART Plan, I think, gives us not only that ability to have a better quality of life, just a smarter way of moving that I think a future generation is asking for.
And it's not just the county. There's other partners involved in the SMART Plan as well.
Absolutely. We can't do it by ourselves. And what we're looking at is not just the state, not just the federal government. We're looking at public-private partnerships as opportunities. We're also looking at MDX as a way of helping us pay for some of the services that we need to evolve. And if you also look at the SMART Plan long-term, globally in Miami-Dade County, communities like ours need to continue to be sustainable. The economic development of our community really starts falling in jeopardy if you can't move in our community. How do you draw businesses? How do you lure somebody to invest in your community if their employees are going to be stuck in traffic? So if we look at it from a standpoint that economic development, opportunity for development where we haven't developed before, on hubs where we could raise the level of density in those areas, it creates a better flow as far as people moving in our community.
And the SMART Plan consists of 6 corridors that you were talking about?
6 corridors. And if we look to the north first, there's a northeast corridor that goes all the way up to Aventura from downtown Miami. There's a corridor that, in essence, goes from the MIC out north toward the Hard Rock Stadium. There's a Kendall corridor that basically goes all the way down Kendall Drive, all the way out to Chrome, basically. There's an east-west corridor that basically hubs the airport and 836 all the way out to the Dolphin Mall. And then what I call a southwest corridor that takes you all the way down to Florida City. And let me not forget, then there's a beach corridor that would link downtown to the beaches.
And this is going to be bus, rapid transit, rail? Is it going to be a combination?
So that's the part of the argument. What do you deliver on them? In some cases, rail would probably be more efficient and probably a better delivery method. The Southwest Corridor, the Northeast Corridor, East-West Corridor, all I think are very ripe for a rail delivery service. We can stay open-minded on the others. Although I would like to see rail on all points, we can perhaps look at dedicated bus lanes where literally the bus is the only thing in the lane going north, going down the Kendall area. But if I had my way, I'd like to see some sort of rail delivery to all points of the county.
And would the rail delivery be using existing rail lines, or would we have to build new
In
ones?
some cases, you would be able to use existing rail line. East-west, perhaps. The Northeast Corridor, absolutely. Southwest, I think, is very ripe for some sort of rail delivery. We already own the corridor. The Kendall Corridor, the North Corridor, that's a little dicey because of the right-of-way situations. But ultimately, and as technology evolves and a lot of the delivery methods become much more efficient, this is something that we could always allow technology to evolve, and then we could always change up what we have on the corridors.
And so how does Miami-Dade County accomplish the SMART Plan vision?
Money. And that's key. And what we did is create in our construct of work a council that basically examines how can we raise the money to pay for it. It's not going to be a cheap process. Estimates run anywhere from $2 to $3 billion in order for us to deliver what would be the SMART Plan to touch all corridors at all points of our county. It's important, though, if we realize that 70 to 75% of every resident would be within a mile and a half of a corridor, you could see the impact it could have as far as mobility in our community. We just need to have the resolve that this is something important, something that we want to invest in, and with our half penny and other forms of raising money that's not property taxes, I think we get there.
And how does the Miami-Dade County Commission actually play a role in seeing the plan come to fruition?
Well, the board, and as you well know now with term limits, the board is going to morph over the next couple of years, and perhaps the entire board that's serving now will not be in place in 6 years. The board needs to start making some serious decisions now, A, as to which corridor should go first, which is very important, and number two, make a sustained effort that we're going to invest in this. We're going to invest in transportation, we're going to invest in the future of our county, and if we have that mindset, then I think we could see a huge amount of change over the next 10 to 15 years.
And before we let you go, Chairman, what is your personal vision for transportation in Miami-Dade County?
It started off very simple. I just want to give residents in our community options. I know I can't force you to get out of your car. I may not want to leave my car, but I do appreciate the ability to have an option that I could leave my car at a station and not have to worry that day of having to spend money in gas or being in traffic. If we accomplish that, if we could just give folks options, then I think mission accomplished.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. We really
My pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that's all for this edition of Get to Know Your County Commissioner. For more information about this topic or any other county program or service, call 311 or visit miamidade.gov. And be sure to connect with us on social media. For Miami-Dade TV, I'm Jeanette Perez. Thanks for watching.